what I know. Better than the rest, just watch me grow. Put me to the test and watch me go. This is my quest, I'ma make it known. They call me obsessive, oh I know. Call me selective with my notes. Call me aggressive with my flow. Call me offensive even though Joe, I ain't gonna lie, life's tough. Try to get by, life's rough. Try to do it right.
Yeehaw, soldiers. It's your boy, the Anime Sage, coming at you in another video. And this is Pokemon Origins, Johto version, episode 1. My first original story since rewriting the Pokemon anime. I really hope you all support this, and I really hope you all like it. So yeah, let's do this. Before I get into this, watch my community tab like a hawk. We're having polls on Sunday for what would this you guys, get for next week. And also watch it for vid updates, polls, and, some other fun stuff in between. And it's time for some quick social media plugs. Twitter is at AnimeSage4. Instagram is anime_sage4. And join my Discord server. I will give reasons why you should follow them or join them at the end of the video, so watch until the end. Since this is a new series, literally, no usual checklists. With all that out of the way, let's get right into the story. Alright, so before I actually start narrating, let me talk about what Pokemon Origins, what is Pokemon Origins real quickly. The original story was based on the events in the Pokemon games, just anime specifically, the events in Fire Red, Leaf Green, and the original Gen 1 games. Red was there, Blue was there, Red vs. Blue Champion Battle was there. You get it if you played the Gen 1 Pokemon games or are familiar with Pokemon lore. In this story, instead of following the Kanto events, we're following the events of Gold, Silver, Crystal, and Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Like the original story, there will be Mega Evolutions, so it's very likely that we'll be getting some new Megas. Now, let's get into this. 3 years ago, one trainer stood at the top of the world. He beat his rival, he completed the Pokédex, and became champion of his very own region. Nothing could have been better for his life. He was the greatest trainer in history. However, after trying to search for mythical Pokemon Mew, it seemed that the trainer discovered even more Pokemon at the top of a mountain known as Mount Silver. He then realized there's a bigger world out there, and likely there would be more Pokemon and more powerful trainers. This made him come to one decision: to train, and train some more. He will hone his skills and keep training on top of Mount Silver until one day a new trainer can rise up to the challenge and battle him in the ultimate duel of skill. A trainer that can even match his skill won't come for quite a while. Until now. Our story begins in New Bark Town, where we witness the rise of a new trainer, and his name is Gold. Gold is sleeping in his bed. It is morning, and today is the day where a journey begins. His mother calls him to wake up as, he has to wake up, right? Gold wakes up, and is ready for a normal day. He doesn't fully know what he wants to do yet, but as a kid, he admired learning about trainers like Blue and Red, watching them and stuff like that, and thinks that maybe he could one day be a champion. Maybe. Then again, it is a long shot, so who knows if he will be able to accomplish all that. Gold grabs his Pokegear and sits down to some breakfast with his mom. His mom tells him that Ellen wants to see him in his lab. His mom then tells him about all the stuff he might need before leaving. Gold's like, Gold finishes his breakfast and heads to the lab. When he is a couple feet out of his house, he bumps into Lyra's Meryl. Lyra then appears, and then she then says, "I'm so sorry, Gold." Gold says, "Hey, no worries." Lyra and Meryl then leave, and Gold starts his short walk to the lab. It is a nice scene in New Bark Town. It is small, but it has some nice houses, a great lab, and is a nice smaller area overall. Gold does see a mysterious red-haired boy looking through the window of the lab, but doesn't pay him any attention. Gold then enters the lab, and then he sees, again, it's a nice looking lab, what you would expect from a Pokemon professor. Elm says, "It's good to see you, Gold. How are you?" Gold says, "I'm doing good." And then before Elm can continue a conversation, he gets an email from his computer. He reads it and then goes back to Gold. Elm says, "It seems that one of my good friends in Mr. Pokemon has discovered something for me. I would go for it myself, but I am a bit tied up at the moment. Would you mind going over to Mr. Pokemon's house and get his discovery for me?" Gold then says, "Sure." Elm then says, "Alright, first go select your Pokemon from the table, because there are going to be wild Pokemon out there. You have free options, so choose wisely." Gold then goes over to the table, and he sees 3 options ahead of him. They are in a capsule with information about them on the computer screen above the capsule. The first option is Chikorita, the 4-legged leaf Pokemon, which you can probably guess is a grass type based on the word leaf. Chikorita does look like a nice Pokemon and all, but he doesn't feel drawn to it as much, so he decides to pass on it. The second option is Totodile. Totodile is a bipedal water-type Pokemon that has very strong jaws, hence why it's called a strong jaw Pokemon, and looks very appealing to Gold. Heck, Blue's main Pokemon was a Blastoise, which evolved from Squirtle, so why not go for water-type? However, Gold wants to look at the final option, so he goes to the final Pokemon. The final Pokemon is a four-legged fire mouse Pokemon known as Cyndaquil. This Pokemon looks very appealing to Gold. Both Cyndaquil and Totodile look like the best Pokemon for Gold, which is why it is a bit of a hard choice. However, he then remembers that Red's main Pokemon was a Charizard, which evolved from a Charmander. So why not go with the type of the trainer who you have admired for years? Gold chooses Cyndaquil, and out it pops from the Pokeball. Gold will say, "Hi, Cyndaquil. My name is Gold. I'm your new trainer. Let's win some battles together, alright? And grow strong together." Cyndaquil warms up to Gold and accepts him. Elm then says, "Good choice. I believe it is warmed up to you. You can definitely keep that once you come back, especially if it keeps warming up to you like that." And then Gold then asks, "Is it possible I can go on a journey with it?" Elm ponders and smiles. "After you do me this favor, we can definitely talk about it." Gold is like, "I bet," and starts to head out. First, he shows Lyra his new Pokemon. Lyra thinks Cyndaquil is adorable, which gives Cyndaquil some pride. Gold then shows his mom his Pokemon, and she loves it as well. Gold then heads out of New Barktown, and then goes onto the first route in Route 29. He does encounter some wild Pokemon, but he either avoids them or battles them, and Cyndaquil takes them down pretty easily, as Gold was told Cyndaquil's moves from Elm, and it's not really that hard to take down all those wild Pokemon. Gold then eventually heads into Cherry Grove City, the first place he has been to outside of New Barktown. An old man shows Gold around, and he goes to the Pokemon Center to heal his Pokemon. His Cyndaquil is healed pretty easily, as it sustained no major injuries. The old man will then show him the way to Mr. Pokemon's house, and Gold will then head onto Route 30, where he will head to Mr. Pokemon's house. Gold enters the wooded area. He deals with some more wild Pokemon, but Cyndaquil takes care of them with ease. Man, if only he has some Pokeballs on him right now. He sees the house and knocks on the door. He hears a man's voice say, "Come in," and enters the house. Over in the house, there are two old men inside, but one of the old men looks very familiar. The old man says, "Hello, I am Mr. Pokemon. You must be here for Elm, right?" Gold nods. "You must be Mr. Pokemon. Elm has talked about you a lot." As Mr. Pokemon is grabbing his discovery, not really surprised. He has told me a bit about you, though. I can tell you do have potential. Gold then puts his hand in the back of his head, rubs it as he is getting complimented by Mr. Pokemon. The other old man is studying Gold very closely. Gold is kind of getting nervous. Why is this man so familiar? Mr. Pokemon gives him his discovery, which is in a black capsule, so he can't see what it is, then takes it upon himself to give Cyndaquil a quick heal up, so he gives it some food. Cyndaquil enjoys it, and Gold just smiles at Cyndaquil. The other old man then goes up to him, and Gold is kind of nervous. The man then smiles. "That's Cyndaquil, and you are awfully close, I would say, right?" Gold then says, "Yeah, I guess we have a good bond with each other." The man then says, "You two remind me of a particular duo when they set off on their journey." The man then excuses himself. "Pardon me, I haven't even introduced myself. My name is Professor Oak." Gold's eyes have widened in shock. The Professor Oak? The same man who gave Red and Blue their Pokemon? The same man who researches Pokemon for a living? The grandfather of Blue? That Professor Oak? Gold is in complete shock right now. "Oh my god, I've heard so much about you. Let me introduce myself then. My name is Gold," he says kind of nervously as he is standing in front of the Pokemon Professor. Oak and Gold then shake hands. Mr. Pokemon is just watching this exchange very closely. Professor Oak then says, "I definitely agree with Mr. Pokemon that you do have a lot of potential. I also do like how that Cyndaquil is so close to you, even though it has only been with you for a short amount of time." Gold kind of just puts his hand at the back of his head again and says, "Thanks, Professor." Oak then says, "How about you take this from me?" Oak then hands Gold a device that Gold immediately recognizes as a Pokedex. This just makes him even more excited, as Red and Blue were given this opportunity to complete the Pokedex, and the fact that Oak sees Gold as worthy enough for one of those devices is pretty crazy. Sure, Elm has his own Pokedexes, but the fact that Oak sees him as worthy of one of his devices is just so amazing to him. Gold then asks, "Are you sure about this?" Oak nods his head yes, and then Gold then accepts the Pokedex. Oak then says, "I can't wait for your contributions to the Pokedex, and Pokemon research in general." Gold then says, "Thank you, I will complete this Pokedex." Oak then says, "Confident, are we?" "Well, all I can say is good luck, and take care." Gold then leaves the house. Mr. Pokemon then says, "Why did you give that child the Pokedex?" I did say yeah, potential, but there has to be more of a reason to it. Am I correct? Oak then says, it's because he reminds me of him when he first got his Charmander. Mr. Pokemon just nods. Gold then leaves the house. He goes a couple steps, but then gets a call from Professor Elm. Gold answers the call, and then Elm, in a panicked voice, says, Gold! It's terrible! It's a disaster! Come quick! No! Stop! And then the call ends from there. Gold then wonders what's going on, so he races to the lab. Cyndaquil, after a quick wild Pokemon battle, learns Smokescreen. Gold is definitely interested in that, and he got the information from the Pokedex, which is a breath of fresh air compared to potentially discovering Cyndaquil learn Smokescreen on his own, without the Pokedex. It's just an overall nice convenience for Gold at this point, and he is so happy he has the Pokedex. However, at this point, Cyndaquil isn't even in the Pokeball as they are hurrying. Gold then heads back to Cherry Grove with a Cyndaquil in still great condition, so there's no need for the Pokemon Center. As Gold exits Cherry Grove City, he then sees a red-haired boy. The red-haired boy stops him, and then the boy then says, well, you seem to have gotten a Pokemon at the lab. Gold then says, well, yes, thanks, but I'm not in the mood. I gotta hurry. Though Gold does note that the boy looks familiar. The boy then says, what a waste. Such a good Pokemon with a wimp like you? Pathetic. This kinda irritates Gold, especially since his pride was insulted. Gold then angrily says, are you sure you want to go around saying that? The boy says, yes, you are such a wimp. You don't deserve to have that Pokemon. I got one from lab myself. It definitely suits me, and unlike you, it is with a worthy trainer. Gold starts to get even more angry. The boy then says, oh, you want to prove me wrong? How about we battle? Then I can prove how pathetic you really are. Gold accepts. Both trainers then send out their Pokemon. Go, Cyndaquil. Go, Totodile. Gold, seeing a Totodile, is interested as it was the other Pokemon he thought about choosing. The red-haired boy says, Totodile, scratch! Gold then says, Cyndaquil, tackle! Both Pokemon go at each other with their attacks, and the attacks collide. Cyndaquil overpowers Totodile's scratch and knocks Totodile back. The boy then says, pathetic. That rubs Gold the wrong way. The boy then commands Totodile to use Leer, and Gold counters with Leer from Cyndaquil. Both Leers cancel each other out. Gold then says, tackle, Cyndaquil. Cyndaquil goes in for the tackle. The boy then smiles. Foolish decision. The boy then says, use your tail to jump, then scratch. Totodile uses his small tail to jump, and then it goes down in an aerial scratch. Gold will ask Cyndaquil to dodge, but it is too late, as Cyndaquil is overpowered, gets knocked back, and is down. Gold then says, Cyndaquil, no! The boy then says, your Cyndaquil has definitely taken a lot of damage from my Totodile's last attack. I couldn't expect anything less from a pathetic trainer like you, who shouldn't even have that Pokemon. Gold then starts having doubts about himself at that moment in time. Does he deserve Cyndaquil? He has put Cyndaquil through that much pain against this trainer in his first battle. However, he then remembers Oak's words about him, how he and Cyndaquil are already so close in such a short amount of time. He remembers the words of Mr. Pokemon, how he has potential, before he was given his discovery. He then sees Cyndaquil gain up, looking more determined than ever, waiting to beat this kid and his Totodile here and now. Gold then smiles and says, how about I show you how much me and Cyndaquil deserve each other? The boy then says, blah, that friendship talk with Pokemon. It's so pathetic. Pokemon are meant to be nothing but tools. I will show you that here and now. Totodile, finish off that Cyndaquil with scratch. Totodile goes in for a scratch. Cyndaquil then says, we're not done yet. Cyndaquil, smoke screen. Cyndaquil unleashes a powerful smoke screen. The boy is shocked as now he can't see Cyndaquil, so he then tells his Totodile to stop, which he does. The smoke clears and there is still no Cyndaquil. Where did it go? Gold then says, Cyndaquil, tackle. The red-haired boy then sees Cyndaquil tackling down towards Totodile from above. He is shocked and tells Totodile to dodge, but the command was late, and Cyndaquil tackles Totodile right in the head. Totodile is now writhing in absolute pain as he took a shot to the head, then he falls, and then he faints. The red-haired boy is just stunned. Gold is pretty happy he and Cyndaquil won, and Cyndaquil goes up to Gold. Gold is just smiling at the moment as he just won his first real Pokemon battle. The red-haired boy then goes up to Gold and says this time you got lucky. If we were to battle again, I would smoke you. Because you know something? I am going to become the world's greatest Pokemon trainer. And wimps like you who believe in so-called friendship and camaraderie for your Pokemon will be crushed along with your pathetic ideals. Now, move aside. The boy then pushes past Gold. Gold then sees on the ground a card. It is the red-haired boy's trainer card. His name is Silver. Silver then feels that his trainer card is missing. He then sees that Gold has his trainer card in his hands. Silver then runs back over to Gold, and then he says, "Give that back! That is my trainer card!" Gold then says, "So, your name is Silver, huh?" Silver then says, "Oh no, you saw my name." Silver then runs away. Gold then thinks for a bit, then all of a sudden he remembers that was the boy who was looking outside the lab. Gold then realizes that the boy definitely got towed out from the lab, but it might not have been via conventional reasons. But hang on a sec, the guy might be a jerk, but he wouldn't be a thief, right? Gold decides to check his suspicions as he goes back to New Barktown. As much as he would like to chase after the boy for answers, he has to make sure that Elm is alright. Gold then heads back all the way to New Barktown. Outside the lab, he sees a police-mobile. Not good. He then enters the lab. The lab table has yellow tape across it, like there's been a crime scene, and one of the Pokemon is gone. A police officer then approaches Gold. There has been an incident here. A Pokemon from this lab was stolen, and we've concluded the suspect will return to the scene of the crime, especially with a lab Pokemon. The officer then sees Cynthia. "So, you do have a Pokemon from the lab. Well then, I shall arrest you immediately and confiscate that Pokemon from you right away, as it seems that you are the culprit." The officer then grabs his handcuffs, and Gold's like, "Huh?" And then Elm then says, "Stop! It's not him." Lyra then comes through those lab doors and says, "Stop! He has nothing to do with it. I saw it all. There's a red-haired boy looking through the window of the lab." Golden says, "I bowed him on my way here. He had a Totodile." The officer hearing this says, "So, you bowed him on the way here, huh? Did you happen to get his name?" Gold then tells him that the boy's name is Silver. The officer says, "I am sorry for this misunderstanding. We'll file a report and be on the lookout for this Silver fellow. Thank you for your help. I will be off." The officer then leaves, then Gold then thanks Lyra for saving him. Lyra's like, "No problem. I'm just trying to look after a friend and make sure that Silver gets brought to justice." Lyra then leaves the lab. Elm then says, "Oh, Gold, this is terrible." Gold then shows Elm Mr. Pokemon's discovery in the capsule, and Elm gets very excited. Elm releases the capsule and is revealed to be a Pokemon egg. Gold has seen those Pokemon eggs before on TV, and they are pretty cool. This one is a white egg with blue and red triangles on it. Elm then says, "I'm going to research this egg. This egg is unlike any egg I've ever seen before. This is a huge step in Pokemon research." Gold then tells Elm about his encounter with Professor Oak and shows him the Pokedex. Elm says, "Do you know what this means? Oak hasn't given a Pokedex to anyone since Red and Blue. This is huge. I knew you had potential and that you were definitely ready to go on a Pokemon journey, but a cosign from Oak just proves it. You could also challenge the gyms around Johto." Golden feels his dreams potentially coming true, as gyms are set to challenging the Pokemon League, and if you win the Pokemon League, you become champion. Elm then says, "And maybe you can get all 8 gym badges, and maybe challenge the Pokemon League, and maybe you can even become the champion, although the last two are probably not very likely. Then again, if Oak believes in you that much in the challenge of his Pokedex, it is definitely possible." Gold then says, "I guess we have to see what happens. Can't get ahead of myself. But whatever challenge comes my way, I will take it head on." Cynthia then jumps up in excitement, which means he approves. And yes, Cynthia is a he, as he got that from the Pokedex. Elm then says, "There is a vast world in Johto, and there is a vast world ahead of you. It will be difficult, but I do believe in you. Before you go, here are these." Elm then gives Gold some Pokeballs. Gold says, "Thanks, Elm," and then he starts to leave the lab. Elm then says, "Wait, one more thing. Make sure you tell your mom about your journey." Gold then says, "I will," and leaves the lab. Gold has been given a mass opportunity to go on a real Pokemon journey, where it can potentially go down the path of the people he has looked up to for a while, in Red and Blue. Him and his Cynthia seem to be the perfect team at the moment, and he will probably acquire more Pokemon along the way. Will Gold achieve everything he has ever wanted, and are there bigger threats to deal with besides this Silver guy? Find out in the next part as the series potentially continues. Thank you all for watching episode 1 of Pokemon Origins Johto version. This is a very long script for me to write, as I hit the 10-page mark while writing all this, so you know I made sure this would be a really good story. I really do hope you all support this, as I feel like this could be a great way to expand my content, and I hope you all like this. Make sure to watch my community tab like a hawk for a minor there. Finally, follow me on Twitter for another way to get notified my videos, Instagram for memes and other fun stuff in between, and join my Discord server for access to supplementary content, notifications of when I live stream ahead of time, and you guys get to suggest to me ideas directly. In addition, I am allowing you guys to review this series in the story section on my Discord. So if you want to voice your thoughts and opinions on the writing for this series, you can do that. Those are all great ways for you guys to interact with me as well. So follow me on Twitter and Instagram and join my Discord server. And that is all I have to say. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, and share the video. This has been your boy, the Anime Sage, signing out. Peace. YEEHAW. Stephanie Shea. Close us out.
Hi, this is Stephanie Shea, voice actress for Sailor Moon, Hinata, Orihime, and you are watching Anime Sage.
If you want something like fame, then go do something okay.